top5wrapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Today we are going to react to some highlights from Trump and Biden's presidential debate in 2020. I'll kind of get to my own personal opinions as we watch the video. Let's get right into it.
To condemn white supremacists and militia groups.
Stand back and stand by.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, are you in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow it.
Are you in favor of law and order? Go ahead,
I'm in favor.
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order.
So if you haven't seen this whole debate, I remember watching this live. This was a, chaotic debate. Like, the moderator couldn't control either Trump or Biden. If I remember correctly, there were 3 debates. And the first one, which this is the first one of the 3, out of control. Out of control. The second one, they tried to rein it in, but it was still a little crazy. And I believe the last of the debates was more tame compared to the first.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly.
Mr. President, I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to...
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. Joe Biden, says the guy who wrote the crime bill in the early 90s. Joe Biden, it's not like he just voted for it. He wrote it, he designed it. You know, that crack to cocaine ratio, you know, that 3 strikes, you know. But he wants to talk about law and order where people get treated fairly. Biden, you ran on law and order your whole career.
Let me ask my question, and then you can answer.
Go ahead. Your party wants to go socialist medicine.
My party is
and
me.
Socialist
right
healthcare.
now. I am,
and they're going to dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the Democratic Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of.
First,
said not according to Harris, because I think many people were anticipating Harris to come up and be Biden's incumbent in a way.
well, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not
The
surprised.
fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree.
want to make
Joe,
sure.
you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, and first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be surprised.
you pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy, the wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen.
That was really a productive.
Yeah, Biden, when you compare Biden to how like Jeb Bush got treated and like the Republicans and the GOP in that 2016, and maybe I'll react to that too, in those 2016 primaries, I believe, Joe Biden held his ground a little better.
Productive segment, wasn't it? This is the same man.
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
By Easter, this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
That was said sarcastically.
That was the whole issue relating to COVID. He still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country.
You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis.
Yeah, and who knows if we'll get another COVID lockdown. That's the thing about the COVID lockdowns. I'm talking about lockdown where stores are closed, people can't go into work, you can't go to the gym. There are, in terms of shopping, grocery shopping, there are set hours, there are lines out the door. Like I'm talking about how it was March through maybe June 2020. That is bad for the economy, as we all know, because people aren't able to work, goods aren't able to be sold. The supply chain is gets wrecked a little harder than it was even before the COVID crisis. So the lockdowns, and then we have to start printing these checks, these stimulus checks, because people are losing their jobs. Jobs are cutting people, to try to keep up with costs because they aren't able to sell as many goods because they can't open their store. So they have to start laying people off, and then as a result of laying people off, the government has to hand out these stimulus checks to keep people's head above water so they can pay rent, so they could still eat. But when you start doing these stimulus checks, it's like a domino effect. Now you start causing inflation because you're printing money, and we know inflation, one of the main causes is over circulation of money. You're just printing, and that's how you cause massive inflation. So it is a conundrum. Like Trump in the beginning, I don't even know how real this whole thing is, right? Or how the data is being recorded, or I'm not gonna get into that. But Trump's whole thing in 2020 was, before he was beat by Biden in the election in November, his whole thing was, we don't want to keep closing down the economy because there's that domino effect I talked about. But if you go on social media, people they love lockdowns. They love being locked down. Who loves lockdowns? Like unless you can work from home, but if you work like a police officer, a firefighter, well, they're still going to work, I guess, but maybe less hours. Construction, HVAC, blue collar job where you have to go in, you can't just be in the office. If you go to the gym, if you're a social person who wants to just be locked down. If you go on social media, there are people who are like, no, lock us down some more, like we shall do it. Bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like, and then you ruin the economy. The inflation that we have now, a large chunk of that is because of them stimulus checks, bro. We can't. Come on, bro. Economics, bro.
And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home.
No, people want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. I'm the one that brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it.
Will you tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars,
So
yes.
not 750?
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see it. But let me just tell you, I don't want to pay tax. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is.
Gentlemen.
That's a fact. That reminded me when Trump said, where someone tried to call him out, like, oh, when you were a businessman, you were a Republican and a Democrat. Like, you don't know what you are. I think it was in the Republican primaries. And he was like, yeah, I was a businessman. Like, my job was to get along with everybody. He's like, I got along with you, too. You were passing bills on my behalf. Like, you have no backbone. So that kind of just gets flipped on you when you try to do
I hate to raise my voice, but it seems to be, why should I be different than the two of you?
This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division.
And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples.
If he ever got to run this country and they ran it the way he would want to run it, our suburbs would be gone. By the way, our suburbs would be gone, and you would see problems like you've never seen.
He wouldn't know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not.
Go ahead, wait a minute.
I was raised in the suburbs. What really is a threat to the suburbs and
I was raised in the suburbs, cause like it's the hood or something.
Safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs.
If you want to switch seats, we can very quickly. We can do that. You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Kenosha. That was Rittenhouse.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
white like me to condemn.
He didn't want to do it. Trump didn't want to do it because he know that's like a big part of his base.
And right
stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to.
Telling him to say stand by. This nigga said stand. They told him to say stand down. He said stand by. Like, oh, wait.
do something about Antifa and the left.
Under this president, we've become weaker, sicker, poorer, more divided, and more violent. When I was vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy, and he caused
All right, dude, you was vice president. Obama fixed that, bro. What?
the recession.
Mr. President, your campaign agreed that both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side
He about to
agreed
break
it.
down. The moderator, he about to
Why don't
break
you
down.
observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He never keeps his word. Can you add back, sir?
No,
He's
I'm
a
not
person
asking.
that's
That was a
not
rhetorical question.
Can you
Go
add
ahead,
back
sir.
30 seconds?
Yes,
Okay.
you may have.
All right.
Go ahead.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people
McCain.
left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Beau Biden.
Ooh, that hit harder because, you know, the stuff that just came out about Hunter. Well, he just really appears to just be living his best life. Just go search Hunter Biden on YouTube. I'm sure you'll see the videos. This is that's a low blow by Trump there, because Biden's other son, Beau, he was more, I will say, decorated. I think he was in the military or something, but he passed away tragically. Oh, and then Trump just goes, you talking about Hunter?
He's not a loser.
Like, we know you're not talking about
He was
him.
a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Beau. I know Hunter.
Yeah, you know Beau.
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It
For
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. And once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He made
My
a
son,
fortune.
my son,
And he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
Do you believe that human pollution, greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of
I
this
think
planet?
a lot of things do, but I think to an extent, yes. But I also think we have to do better management of our forests, where they
Not
want
true.
to take out the cows too.
Not
That's
true.
not true either, right?
He cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not, when the votes are counted, and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that'll be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's
He
going to
didn't
go.
accept
He
it.
can't stay in power. It won't happen. It won't happen. So vote. Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country is going to look like the next 4 years. Is it going to change? You get 4 more years of these lies.
Economically, it's arguably gotten worse.
As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. If it's a fair
You're urging
election,
them what?
I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that.
Our military, they've been voting by ballots since the end of the Civil War, in effect. It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballots.
It's already been established.
President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating.
They both laughing like, hell yeah, bro. Like, we just went at it, you know, without using actual hands. So yeah, like I said, man, like in the 2 years that Biden has been president, it'll be 2 years, like in 2 or 3 months, it'll be November. Economically, it's arguably gotten worse. COVID is still here. They're still like threatening lockdowns. Now there are vaccine mandates everywhere. Like you can't work certain places unless you got vaccinated. We in war damn near with Russia. In my opinion, we always been at war with Russia. In school, they teach you that the Cold War is this thing that happened back then, and the fall of the Soviet Union. I don't think the Cold War ever ended. I think what we're seeing now is just an extension of the Cold War. And keep in mind, Russia and Ukraine and all that, that's been happening like since 2014, 2015. Like the annexation of Crimea. Like I was a political science student, 2014, 2015 when all that stuff was happening. So I remember learning about that stuff. And it's still just continuing, but it just so happens this time now we break out into war. Now it's a big old issue and everything. But yeah, Ukraine, Russia, annexation of Crimea. Now we got monkeypox. Like it's the gas prices, the inflation, the housing situation, the rent situation, tuition. Like bro, like nothing has really markedly changed. And if you're on the social side, bro, you're socially liberal, bro. Roe v. Wade, you know what I mean? If you're looking at the 2A, you're more socially conservative. Look at all of the attacks on Second Amendment. It's like, bro, like nothing has really changed for the better, like or markedly changed. I don't want to say nothing has changed, but nothing has markedly changed. And if you watch this debate, you can understand why so many people were almost hypnotized to vote for Biden, because for 4 years he had no Trump, no Trump, no Trump, get the orange man out, this and that. And then you see Biden, he's being strong, he's being coherent in this debate. So you feel like, yeah, like we can get him out, we just gotta vote and this and that. And then nothing's really changed. In many ways, situations, it's gotten worse. Like I know for me, stock market, crypto, like even that, it's nosedive, bro. Like it went up like early 2021, like right after Biden was inaugurated. It had its moment, but yeah, man, we won't get too political on y'all today, but be sure to subscribe if you have not already. And this is top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.